Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back. It's been a long time. Sorry, guys, I kept you waiting in the suspense. But the Love Always podcast is back with myself, Jason Francis, and today on the show, I've got a special guest with me. Goes by the name of Darren Goodman. So today we're going to be talking about Darren's story. He's going to elaborate a little bit more. And hopefully you guys can feed off this story and hopefully we can help you navigate some way into recovery and some way you can help yourself moving forward in your issues and whatever else you got going on in your life. But the show is always about love and love always is always the objective. So I'm going to introduce my guest, my special guest, family member, goes by the name of Darren Goodman. Darren, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm doing well, and thank you very much, Jason, for inviting me on the show.
Yeah, it's a pleasure and it's an honor. And I always start with saying by Darren, I believe in life, nothing is coincidental that happens. So do you remember the time, maybe about 3-4 weeks ago on a Sunday, I came to your house, and the reason was because you was in St. Lucia, and I remember I love the white rum. So I asked you to bring me some rum. Remember that?
Yeah, I still remember it to this day, and I remember it when I was actually on the island. I received that message from you, and I thought, wow, it's Jason. And then he sent me this message saying, D, I know you're in St. Lucia enjoying yourself. Could you get me a bottle of strong rum? And I just said to him, leave it with me.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why is because I've got this bottle that my father gave me. Maybe the bottle's about 25, 27 years old. It's got all the spices in it, but the real rum comes from our native country of St. Lucia. So you mix it with grenadine syrup and it becomes something called spice rum. So, but the object is I remember I was at your house. I haven't seen you for a long time, but we've always connected and we've had a relationship from time we were youth. We were very, very young. So even if we don't see each other for many years, because of that connection from when we was young, when we do reconnect, it's like we just saw each other yesterday.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we had so much to talk about, didn't we, Jason?
Yeah, so much to talk about, Darren.
Yeah, I mean, you brought your family along, and we were out doing the gardening at the time, so we weren't really ready for it. But delayed us a bit in the gardening, but it was well worth it because we had so much to talk about. The chat was flowing. We just spoke about.
Remember the clock as well?
Yeah, it came over. We got a clock in the dining room, and it hadn't been working for about a good 2 years. And I really wanted my wife to just get rid of it because it just kept on telling us the wrong time. And Jason is quite articulate, which I understand right now. And he came along and. He looked at the clock, and we said, no, the clock don't work, so just leave it, don't worry about it. He goes, let me try and fix it. And he got us to get some nuts and bolts out the cupboard, and he managed to fix it. So
there you go. Yeah. There you go. So basically, adding on to that, it's like, by Darren mentioning me can fix the clock, so hopefully this show today can help you fix your clock, because remember when you're born, the clock is always ticking, but it's not ticking for more life. It's ticking for when you have to get ready to go to the other side. So Darren's got a story that he's going to share with us. And how this all happened was I was at your house, and we were talking, and then you was telling me a bit about your story and what you went through. And I went, that's a podcast right there. Because I feed off people's energy and being very spontaneous, rather than having things very structural. I like to have that bit of improvisation and openness where it becomes a bit more natural. You remember that, Darren?
Yep, I do remember, and it was quite surreal how that conversation kind of arose, and then how that story actually came out. Do you know what I mean? Because we have visitors around, and sometimes the story doesn't come out because we're talking about other stuff. But you came there for a reason.
Yeah, and like I said before, nothing in life is coincidental. So even by me coming there, by you being here, it's all the package of us doing this show today. But before we touch on the start of the questions I'm going to give Darren and ask him about his story before we go into it deeper. What I'm going to do, obviously, in between breaks, we're going to play some songs just to get you guys ready in the mood, because we don't want to start off in second gear straight away. We're going to go through the gears, so hopefully at some point we get into cruise mode. You know what I'm saying? Because we want you guys to follow us with the journey until we get to the destination. So the whole point is, let's enjoy the journey, let's enjoy the story, let's try and understand the story, and hopefully all those things combined together will set us off in a nice position where we can get things rolling. So we're going to play a song. Darren, I had a list of really, really good songs that he gave me, so I'm going to start off with one of his songs, and hopefully you guys will like this as well.
Your
Okay, that was Betty White's Keep Your Love New. That was a regular version from one of Darren's list of songs. Once again, this is the Love Always podcast. Me, myself, Jason Francis, alongside my guest, Darren Goodman. We're live on the Hub Live Radio. So, Darren, we're going to go and touch on to the British Heart Foundation, because the whole point of you being here is to share your story, and hopefully some people can resonate with this and have some kind of affiliation with what we're going to be talking about. So, Darren, I would just like you to introduce yourself and just tell the people what happened to you when you got concerned about a condition that you had.
Yeah. So, hi everyone, and thank you for everyone for listening in. And I hope you do find this show interesting and knowledgeable, and also maybe thought provoking. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I'm Darren, and so let's go back to 2014, 2015.
Where was you at this time precisely, if you can remember, 2014-15?
So 2014-15, also I was working full-time. Worked as a prison officer. It's my 18th year as a prison officer.
Whoa.
Working well. Fitness was my main goal. Always been heavily into fitness. Always heavily been into sport, really.
You used to play rugby, right?
I had a little touch of rugby, but I'm more of a footballer.
Football, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
more of a footballer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll play any sport. So maybe back in the day, you probably knew me to play a little bit of rugby,
yes.
but nothing serious with rugby. But I love my football. I love playing it. But I'll play any sport.
Good.
So around that time, working full time, bang into my fitness, and I remember coming back from St. Lucia.
Okay.
And went back into my training. And all of a sudden, I couldn't train as hard as I used to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I used to push myself a lot, do all sorts of kind of training, whether it was cardio, whether it was circuit training, or whether it's just plain heavy lifting.
Okay.
I had to be quite versatile. But I just couldn't lift as heavy, and I couldn't lift as intensely as I could before. And I found it a bit weird that all of a sudden I wasn't fit as I was, and I wasn't as strong as I was. So I was getting on a bit in life, as you do, and I just blamed it a bit onto age catching up with me.
It could be like one of those biblical stories where Samson got his hair cut and he lost his power.
Yeah, all of a sudden, that's exactly how it was.
Yeah.
So still carried on, but all of a sudden I just couldn't run, couldn't ride. If I ran for about 5 minutes, a lot of fatigue would build up in my legs,
Whoa.
which was totally unheard of.
Yeah.
So I visited the doctor. Doctor done some checks, put it down to low blood pressure. So I went off and I thought, okay, low blood pressure it is. So I had to believe it or not, I had to increase my salt intake to get my blood pressure up. But the pains and the low strength continued. And with being a prison officer, we have to do yearly mandatory fitness tests.
Okay.
Never failed one in my life. Okay, we used to do a bleep test up to 8.4. The grade I was, because I was a PE officer, we had to get to an 8.4 bleep test, and I could literally do that with kit on.
With your eyes closed.
With my eyes closed. It was just easy.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time in my 17, 18 years being a prison officer, I failed that test.
Whoa.
And that was a big thing for me.
So that was like alarm bells start kicking in.
Yeah, the alarm bells straight away started kicking. I had tears in my eyes.
Whoa.
So I went straight back to the doctor and I explained this to him. I said, look, something is wrong because I failed a bleep test. And a bleep test means technically you can't really do your job because you have to maintain a certain standard of fitness in those days.
Okay, so tell me, so when you went to the doctor and they diagnosed what you had, can you name the problem or the name of the whatever it was that you had? What was it called?
Yeah, so in the end, visiting the doctor numerous times, okay, just pushing and pushing. And out there in life, you are the best version of your own body, basically.
Yes.
All right? No one can tell you what you're feeling. If you're feeling
100%.
a certain way, go out there and make sure you get what you need. And that's exactly what I did. I was being persistent and I was being consistent going back to the doctor. They gave me the MRI scan and that's what found what exactly I had. And it's a disease called, well, illness, shall I say, called amyloidosis.
Amyloidosis.
Yeah.
So I remember you telling me the percentage of someone having this is very, very rare, right?
Very rare, especially for someone of my age. At the time, I was 40, 46, 45, 46 years old. So very rare for someone my age.
Whoa.
And I'd never heard of it, didn't understand it, but that's what I had. And basically, what it does, it affects any organ in your body and makes it ineffective. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately for me, it affected my heart, which is the main engine of your body.
Yeah.
So, just imagine this: I'm a prison officer working 40 hours a week, sometimes 50 hours a week. Yeah, just training hard. Got referred to the hematology department, and my consultant at the time told me what I had, told me what there's no cure for it, and told me what they can do to suppress it, which was chemotherapy. And at this time, when I heard this news, it was weird because I didn't really I wasn't startled by it for some reason. I didn't really think anything of it. My consultant just looked at me and thought, has he really heard what I've just said? Like, it's not curable.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that. It's like, I was going to ask you, when you first heard it's uncurable, but you just also obviously explained that you was unconcerned, you was untouched, you didn't freeze or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think I probably thought, because I was so fit at the time, I thought, well, I'm fit anyway, so I'll be okay. I feel good.
Yes.
Like, okay, I've got this thing called amyloidosis. It hasn't affected me. I don't know how long I've had it for, but I've done well so far, yeah? And then next thing she said, I'd have to leave work, like, with immediate effect.
Hang on. So I also remember you saying something like, when you used to walk down the road, maybe you take your son to school or to wherever it was, walking to you was a big issue and you couldn't breathe properly. Was that right?
Yes. So let's say, okay, so I got diagnosed in 2015. Had to finish work straight away. So I went from working 40 to 50 hours a week to being at home, doing nothing. Yeah? Really weird world I lived in at that particular time.
Okay.
For being active and just being at home doing nothing, yeah? But still feeling okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Still feeling okay.
Yeah. It hadn't kicked in yet.
Hadn't really kicked in yet. I was still like out doing my bits, doing shopping, still doing a little bit of training.
But in the back of your mind, was that concern there?
Not really, because people used to visit me and say, but you still look good, you still look fine. I said, I know, I feel good. So anyway, as the years went by, in 2018, my illness had progressed to a state where this is when my world did change.
Okay. So it's not something that hits you straight away. It's like a gradual deterioration.
Gradual deterioration, but as the years went by, probably 2017, and believe it or not, during this time I was still undergoing chemotherapy.
Okay.
Yeah, visiting my local hematology department once a month and receiving chemotherapy, coming out of chemotherapy and still being fine. Didn't lose my hair, still had the same energy. It was just weird. I still felt good. I was thinking, blimey, maybe because I'm so fit, I'm fighting this really well. So 2018 came, and that is when my life turned upside down.
Whoa.
2018, let's say March, April, I was really bad, as in couldn't take my son to school. Walking was a problem. If I walked for about 30 seconds, 20 seconds, I'll have to stop and get a breather and continue walking again. So that's when the illness really hits.
So basically, from prison officer, playing sports, doing whatever without any care in the world, and then somewhere along the line, you got diagnosed with this concern, and next thing you know, it's like your world is up there, and then boom.
Yeah. So 2018. During this time, I was in and out of hospital. Probably 2017. In and out of hospital, probably every other weekend, because just couldn't. Because I didn't know I was experiencing heart failure. That's when you get a massive fluid build up in your body.
Yes.
And it kind of finds it hard for you to kind of breathe. So every time the weekend come, whether it was weekday or the weekend, I would end up in hospital for the night or for the weekend. They would drain all the fluid and I'd be back home again. And this would just be a reoccurring situation. So let's say now 2008, I'm going to bring you to now, around March, April, went to bed. I was feeling really bad. And this is the only bit I can remember. Feeling really, really kind of ill in bed. Couldn't really lie down because it would make me have a feeling that I'm drowning. And this is because of the fluid build up in my body, in my system. So, and from there, I just remember waking up in hospital. Just waking up in hospital thinking, I've been sick again maybe. Do you know what I mean? But I still didn't feel right. And my wife was visiting me, bringing me food, and I kept on asking her,
Yes.
why am I in hospital? And she said, you were just ill, you were just sick. I said, okay, but it still didn't feel right. And I was asking the nurses, no one would tell me why I was in hospital. But in the end, knowing what I know through discussion with me and my wife, which we can talk about now, the nurses had said to her, you're going to have to tell him what's happened, what actually happened, why he ended up in hospital this time round.
So basically just be open and honest with you.
Yeah, which she was afraid of. So at that time, I had a cardiac arrest at home. So had the cardiac arrest, and my wife was the person who saved me. She saved me. Don't know the date of it, but it was early in the morning. And what she told me was she just heard a funny noise. And that was the last breath.
Okay, so before we move on, Darren, remember we're going to feed this information slowly, and I'm going to find a song that will start to make us appreciate our days and our life. And this is from one of your songs that I'm going to play, and I think a lot of you can resonate with this song, and I can also definitely resonate with this song, and I think this lady is one of our favorites.
Ruling the way that I move.
Okay, welcome back to the Love Always podcast. Me, myself, Jason Francis, aka Smiley P, alongside my special guest, Darren Goodman. Yeah, we're talking about life issues, what Darren's been through, his story, and we're going to elaborate a little bit more. Before we went to the break, Darren explained how he found his condition, how he first found out about it, what effects it had on him before they diagnosed him and told him exactly what he had was wrong with him and what concerns he had moving forward before he found a way to help him navigate out of this situation. So, Darren, we were talking during the break and then you said something and I said, hold that thought. We were talking about don't be scared to speak out. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah. So as I was explaining, when I kept on going to the doctors, and I was being quite persistent, and it took me about 3 to 4, or maybe 5 visits to the doctor for them to really understand that I was being serious, and like I knew my own body. Do you know what I mean? And listen, the NHS for me, they've done wonders. All right, but to get what you want from the doctors or from the NHS, you really have to be persistent. And the first time I went, like I said, I was told it was low blood pressure. I went back again. I was told it was a leaky valve when they'd done the x-ray. Still experiencing the same symptoms. I went back again. They'd done like an ultrasound. Still experiencing the same symptoms and feelings. So I went back for the 4th time and I said, the symptoms are still there. There is something more wrong and I need kind of some more answers.
And information?
And information. And basically, I need a more kind of intensive scan.
Yes.
So that's when they lined me up for an MRI scan, which is the scan, probably one of the best scans you can
And all this is with the British Heart Foundation, right?
No, not yet.
Not yet, okay.
This is just through my local GP.
Okay.
Yeah, my local GP. So that's when he referred me to have an MRI scan, which is what I needed from the start. But listen, everything's a process, yeah?
Yes.
But the only way you're going to get that process is by initiating that process. And
True.
that's by me going through the motions with the initial talk, having the scan, X-ray, ultrasound, and then the last one was the MRI scan, which is what which is what gave me the diagnosis. If I wasn't that persistent, would I be here now? Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. So the message out there: listen, you know your own body, and just be persistent with whoever you're talking to, and you'll get what you need.
That's right. And this is one of the reasons why I played that song "Cherish the Day," because I believe that yesterday is gone, tomorrow is not ready. So we have to live in the now, and the now is to cherish that second, that minute, that hour, that day. And touching on something, I remember when I was younger, my mum used to say to me, stop burying your head in the sand. And something happened, and I took on that initiative, that talk, it stuck with me. And I just wrote to her and I spoke to her rather than me hiding. And once I'd done that, that broke the ice for me in so many other things, because not speaking, it's what keeps the pain and the hurt inside. And this is one of the things that tears us apart. No matter how big the situation is or the issue is in your life, you have to speak to someone as well as the Creator, because information is from within and outside is where the work is done. And the Creator is inside and outside. And Darren was very brave. He was a soldier. He went through the procedures. And obviously, the concernment must have been very deep from his family side to his son and to those who are connected and related to Darren. So I've never been through anything like that. But there was one time I remember over the Christmas just gone, I felt very, very, very ill. And what it made me feel and understand is that I have to appreciate my life a little bit more, because I could just be so healthy like you was at that time, 18 years in the prison guard, etc. And 1 second, everything could just be turned upside down. And Darren, we're going to talk a little bit more about what led you up to the point where you had to have an operation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, can you just elaborate and let the people know what happened?
Yeah, so I think the last time we left off, I
Uh-huh.
woke up in hospital
Yes.
knowing that I had a cardiac arrest. Excuse me. So, and when I heard that, I just couldn't believe it. Like, listen, I think with mental health and men these days and us sharing our emotions, I think we have to kind of still move on. We are getting better,
Yes.
but you see, 2018, I shedded tears. I shedded tears just by being there, just by being in the hospital. Even when I'd finished hospital, I shedded tears. And when I heard I had a cardiac arrest, I just could not believe it.
You know what? Funny you said the word tears, because I done a video and I said sometimes we have to cry in the evenings so that joy meets us in the morning. So there's nothing wrong with crying at all. It's like a releasing. Carry on, Darren.
Yeah. And so after that, when I learned I had a cardiac arrest and what was going to happen, you know, I was in hospital from March, April 2018.
Uh-huh.
And I came out Christmas 2018. Yeah, so I was in hospital literally for the whole of
So now
2018.
we working now with the British Heart Foundation, right?
Not yet, we'll get there.
We'll get there,
We'll
okay.
get there.
I'm following you. Hopefully you guys keep following Darren as
Yeah,
well.
we'll get
Okay, all right.
So anyway, being in hospital, learning I had a cardiac arrest, lots of treatment was happening. I couldn't leave hospital because I was still ill, okay? After days of being in hospital, my local hospital, I had 3 more cardiac arrests on different days whilst in hospital. So listen, I'm here for a reason.
Yes.
Yeah? You've got a 1 in 4 chance. That's the statistics now.
Wow.
A 1 in 4 chance of surviving a cardiac arrest. You'll probably survive a cardiac arrest probably if you're at home, and whoever's going to be there is going to initiate CPR like within 2 minutes. It
Yes.
has to be straight away. When I had the cardiac arrest in hospital, I was at the right place at the right time because they've got the professionals, they've got the machines. But, you know, listen, it just wasn't a nice experience. There was one particular time which I'm going to share.
Please.
I was in intensive care,
Wow.
and I had family around me, and I can just feel myself feeling a bit funny. And I heard all the machines going off because my heart started to drop, and all the nurses started running around, and I hadn't gone yet. And this is one thing my consultant said to me. He always remembers me for that. I remember, Darren, that when you was in intensive care, they put the defib on you. You know, the shock.
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, that's right.
But you hadn't gone. You hadn't flatlined.
Right, that's
So
deep.
they defibbed me whilst I was still alive.
Okay.
And to this day, I remember that feeling, that pain. It was like a mule kick to the chest.
Or like a horse kicking back or deer or something.
Yeah, it was really, and I remember that. The other times,
Deep.
I was just told about, you know, flatlining and them having to resuscitate me.
Yes.
But this particular time, I hadn't gone, and they defibbed me without me even flatlining. And my consultant always said they should have let you flatline first, then defibbed you. But, you know, like I said, these professionals, and they work on dynamic risk assessment. So if they feel I'm going, you know, depending who's around, they're going to act and how they act.
How
But
they act. Mhm.
listen, it doesn't matter how they would have acted. I still feel I would have been saved. Like, I'm here now to tell this story to you guys.
So while you was going through this particular situation, did you have any out-of-body experiences at all?
It's weird you say that, you know, because during hospital, they gave me all the medication to try to bring my numbers back up to scratch, to where they needed to be, to a stable condition, because I was still critical. And all the medication they were giving me, it wasn't working, it was ineffective. So my consultant said to me, there's nothing else we can do. Like, I've maxed out on all the medication to kind of get you stable.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably going to have some conversations with your family.
So the pharmaceuticals were supplying you? Yeah. So this is the reason why I say this, because I just believe that pharmaceuticals are here for customers, they're not here for cure. Reason why I say this is because a doctor will just tell you to go and take medication or drugs, and you become reliant on drugs. So this is why I believe if you've got a chance to let your body heal naturally and use all the cells in your body to be part of the process of healing, it helps. But obviously in this particular situation, I think outside help and family members and obviously the creator was most probably the most important at that time.
Definitely. So they wanted me to sign a do not resuscitate form. They give you that.
Okay.
They give you that because they can't give you any more medication. So you will choose whether or not, basically, if you want to be resuscitated or not. And I thought to myself, I'm in hospital. I want to be resuscitated because I'm here for a reason. Not unless you try to resuscitate me and you can't bring me back. But anyway, didn't sign the form. They told all my family that, you know, we've done everything and it's just a matter of time. They gave me a time, let's say within a year. So within 2018 to 2019, there's potential that I won't be here.
Deep.
So anyway, at the time I was visiting a church in Stevenage.
Okay.
And my pastor, she came over. She came to the hospital at the time with all my family.
Uh-huh.
And it was just a really beautiful experience because she came, she prayed, and she didn't just pray, she sang. You know, she sang, she prayed, she hollowed the place down, hollowed the ward down,
Deep.
literally, like.
Deep.
And all the other patients were just listening because it was just a beautiful experience.
So basically, as you're talking, I'm scanning you and your energy and your words, and I'm visualizing exactly what you was trying to explain. So it sounds to me like she touched the inner person, your soul. She touched your soul, the real Darren.
Yeah, because once she'd finished, she said to my wife, "He's gonna be okay."
There you go, Darren. Hold this thought. We're going to play another song, and this next song, it's time for us to be optimistic. So when we come back after the break, we're going to elaborate on more on the positive side. But this is one of my songs and Darren's songs, and I just love the lyrics and this song.
The blackness, keep on. Never say die, keep on. Blackness, keep on. Never say die, keep on. Blackness, never say die, keep on. Never say die, keep on.
That's right, yo. Never say die. You always have to be optimistic because that's one of the challenges of life. Life throws loads of different challenges and situations at us, but we have to keep positive and have faith in our ability to navigate out of situations that's going to be very detrimental to our lives and our families. And the whole point of this situation and this program and this project right now and this show is Darren is elaborating and expressing his experience. So now we're going to go into maybe the British Heart Foundation now. Are you ready for that bit?
We will get there. So let me just
Okay.
talk about.
It's like I'm trying to get you there, innit?
No, I know. I mean, yeah.
It's a process. It's a
they
process.
do play a big part. But,
Okay,
it's
okay.
leading up to it.
All right, the next part, tell us.
Yeah. So being in hospital for that length of time, in and out. Well, not in and out. I actually stayed in hospital up until October. Yeah, they gave me a little bit of a break in June, July because they can feel I was getting a bit ratty, missing home, missing family. Just missing all my kind of home creature comforts, which when you're in hospital, it's not really a nice place to be. So they gave me a bit of a break, and then they brought me back in. So when I got discharged, officially discharged, I've got another consultant in the Royal Free London Hospital. Had to go and see him, and during this time, he got the report that I had numerous amounts of cardiac arrests. And he said, your heart is really damaged, and I'm going to refer you for a heart transplant, which is what we spoke about at my local hospital. We spoke about having a pacemaker, and they says, no, you won't get a pacemaker. But because of all the cardiac arrests I had at my local hospital, what happened? Got a pacemaker. Yeah, when they said no, they said yes, because we always say when Jesus says yes, no one can say no. All right? Okay? And I strongly believe in that. We spoke about having a transplant. They says no. That's a very costly kind of thing to do. He's not at the stage of having a heart transplant. What happens when I go to Royal Free? I get referred for a heart transplant. Music to my ears. I could not believe it when I heard that because that's my hope. That's my last life, basically, because I think when you have, 3 to 4 cardiac arrests, there's not much left in your heart because it's that damaged. Imagine your heart's been stopped those times and under severe trauma and brought back to life again. So it's not going to be as effective at its highest capacity. It's going to be working at a low capacity.
I understand that. And that is a story, which is a true story, and an experience that I wouldn't wish on anybody. But everything happens in life for a reason. And one of the reasons why I brought you onto the show is to share your story, not only to share your story, and hopefully there's some people out there listening or tuned in that can resonate with your story. And it just shows you, wherever you go through in life, there is a chance of navigating to a side that can re-establish you. And sometimes in life, no matter what you go through, how bad it may seem, when you come out the other side, the purpose and the reason become more clearer, and then you can feed back those informations back to those who are maybe going through what you went through or even worse at that time. Because you know what? Operations help, medication help, but experiences is one of the things that actually helps people more. It's like if you're a practitioner in something, if you've actually been through that experience, so when you try to heal or help somebody who's gone through a similar situation, the purpose and the power is a lot more powerful because you've experienced some of the experiences someone is trying to get some help for. And there is nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. There is nothing wrong with you having to take a few steps back before you move forward again. Because sometimes in life, I just find we get too comfortable in certain situations. The only time we react is when something happens. It doesn't mean even if you're in a good place, something is not going to hit you one day. Because like I said before, and I mentioned, yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is not ready. We have to live in the now. Because there's a saying, tomorrow is promised to nobody. And obviously Darren's story is very encouraging because he was in a dark place, but there's also light.
Yeah, and just to touch on what you said about, there's nothing wrong with crying, especially with men. sharing your emotions with men as well. You know,
Yes.
don't like to share emotions, and that. Listen, what I know now, and we'll get to that bit of where my life is now.
Okay.
That's come from our upbringing, you know, of where we. Listen, when as boys growing up, young boys, when we fall over, what happens? And when we really hurt ourselves, don't cry, you'll be okay. What do we do as babies?
Yeah.
We don't cry.
We don't cry.
And we get used to that.
Yeah.
So when we actually grow up into adult life, into adulthood, that's been sucked into us.
Yes.
Not to cry as males, you know, not to share your emotions as males, because our upbringing is been told that, and it stayed with us.
You stayed with us.
Yeah, so it comes from somewhere when we don't cry and when we don't share emotions, and when you track back, if you want to tap into your upbringing or childhood, maybe it's somewhere there.
Maybe somewhere there. And obviously, it's a little scar, isn't it? It's a little scar. But we carry a lot of scars along the way, because no matter what you've got, there's always something, there's always a skeleton in the closet somewhere. And it's all part of life. That's the way I look at it. It's all part of life, because my understanding of life is there will always be opinions. There's always be people discriminating people. There will always be people who can't handle the most simplest of things. But it doesn't mean that they were bad people. It's just at some point in their life, something happened and made them snap, made them switch. Because like, I'll give you an example, like I've spoken to certain people I see on the streets and homeless, etc. But we have a tendency to walk past them and ignore them and think that they're the scum of the earth, but they're not, trust me. Those people were just like us who are healthy right now, but something along the way hurt them, scarred them. Before you even know it, it just sent them the other way. Like I'll give you a story of one guy I knew that, lovely family, 2 girls and a boy. That was his whole world. And then one day he got a knock at his door. I'm getting goosebumps saying this story because I really felt for him. One day he got his knock on his door from the police. There's been an accident. But it was an accident where one of them survived, his whole family survived. So imagine he's coming home now to an empty house. Obviously, as time went past, he couldn't get over it, ended up on the streets. That's one of the reasons why I said people who end up on the streets here, they have a story, something has happened. And obviously, eventually, he took his life because he couldn't live without his family. You know, so that's why I said cherish the day, because once again, yesterday is gone, tomorrow is not ready. We have to live in the now. And that's why I say we have to appreciate everybody around us, and our parents, our friends, our families. If there is any wounds out there, you got a chance to heal them, but you don't want to try healing them when they're gone. Because yeah, things happen in life. We don't talk as family, we don't talk as friends, but there comes a time in life where we just have to like say, what? Make the first move. Make the first move. And Darren made many moves in his life with his condition and what he had to go through. And we have to congratulate and commend Darren on his progress and where he is at now. So Darren, from what you went through when you first found out to the procedures, whereabouts are you in your life right now?
So now, I'm recovered now, and I say this will be my 7th year post-transplant. So I had a transplant. I got on the urgent list of a transplant. So that I got accepted to have a transplant. You have to go through a vigorous assessment program for a week. Man, you got to give about 15 tubes of blood all in one year.
So he was having injections and tubes and the whole shebang.
Yeah, 15 tubes of blood. And because I've always been heavily into fitness, so hear this, right? They give you like a fitness test, right? You have to go on a bike and they measure the oxygen in your body. So I'm on the bike and I literally lasted about a minute. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like I can't even go no more. Like I'm knackered, I'm really tired. So when I got back to the ward, my wife was with me, and I just broke down and just thought, like, I'm really in a bad way. Like I couldn't even go no more than a minute. And she said to me, but that's a good thing. Because if you went more than a minute, let's say you went for 20 minutes, then that means you're not suitable for a heart transplant.
True.
And I thought, I just couldn't comprehend it. Because that's me still thinking,
Yes.
I'm fit. I should be fit. Do you know what I mean? But I was not fit. I was just ill. And yeah, that really threw me of not being able to stay on the bike. So anyway, took a week of it, having a vigorous assessment, doing some really invasive treatment procedures, like taking videos of my heart and like putting a needle down through my neck and putting a camera down there and having a look at the pressure and all sorts. Yeah. And in the end, it takes about a week for them to have their multidisciplinary meeting. And I got the phone call that I've been accepted to have a heart transplant, and I'm going on the urgent list. Now, there's 3 different lists. There's the routine, where you stay at home, go about your business, and they give you a call saying we've got an organ for you, and you go into hospital.
Okay.
You've got the urgent list, which one I was on, where you are inpatient, where you stay in hospital. When an organ arrives, you're there at the right time. There's no time for delay or anything like that. Or the super urgent one, which is very similar to the urgent, where you're kind of like really top of the list. So as soon as one goes, an organ turns up.
There's a space, yeah.
That's yours.
That's
you know
yours,
what I mean?
yeah. Yep.
So I after that, I went into hospital, probably within about 2 to 3 weeks waiting. And I had my transplant in Birmingham, because that's where the team was, what specialised in the condition I have, amyloidosis. And within 4 weeks, I'd got an organ. I'd got a heart.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean,
Brilliant.
within those 4 weeks, I'd got one, and they do so much vigorous checks on it that it was a match, but the heart wasn't good enough.
It wasn't good enough
Yeah, which this gives you that kind of encouragement to think.
to
You
think.
know what? They actually really do check these organs before they transplant them into someone's body. And it's weird, really, because, listen, I think at that time I just had God on my side.
Yes, always,
because
always.
I had no fear.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I mean? I had no fear. Like when they said to me the organ's not, the heart is not good enough, a lot of people, a lot of patients will break down at that stage, because
Yes.
that is thinking, that's the time ticking.
That's a stress
Because
right
they
there.
need that organ for them to survive. So when they came back to tell me that the organ, the heart was not good enough, so we're going to go back to the drawing board and still wait,
More stress.
I was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A week after that, I got another heart, and that was the one which was for me. And when it came about, it was mad, really, because I was full of excitement. I wasn't even worried. Like, it's such a big operation where, anxiety is meant to kick in. There was no anxiety there.
No anxiety there. But Darren, while you're talking, I'm listening, I'm scanning, and the reason I believe you're still here is because your destination is not ready to be completed yet.
Mm-hmm.
You have a journey, and the journey is where the experiences come into it. And I just want to elaborate on something. So, all right, this is the Love Always podcast, right? And I do this show and give people opportunities where they might not get an opportunity to. So how all this started for me was during the first lockdown pandemic, or I call it scamdemic, and I'd just done a little video, just spontaneous video, and then next thing you know, the word love always just kept on coming in my head. So as time went along, I kept on doing videos. I used to call it a smiley speech at the time. But even before that, I knew there was something about me. I knew I had a purpose. I knew I had a calling. And obviously, I believe in the higher force, the creator, and my soul within, which is the real person. My body is just a vessel that demonstrates what me inside is really like. So I believe I've got a good heart, and I believe Darren's got a good heart. So I connect with people that are positive, friendly, kind, and they've got a story. So one of the reasons why I do this is not because I want to, it's because it's part of my journey. And I love doing it. And if someone gets some information from this so they can resonate with it, it goes some kind of way to healing or helping you, or giving you some confidence for you to make a start to help yourself, to heal yourself, then to me, that's part of what I'm here to do. And as time goes by, hopefully I can help a few more others. And don't be shy, guys, to get in contact with me, Jason Francis. 643@yahoo.com. I want to give you guys an opportunity also as well for you to share your story, and because everyone deserves an opportunity. And I'm willing and open to give someone that opportunity. But Darren, before we go a little bit more, I'm going to play another song. And once again, guys, stay tuned to the Love Always podcast with my guest Darren Goodman and myself, Jason Francis. Most knows me as Smiley P from the Starlight Crew, but it's all about love and love always to you guys. Hold on tight.
Because it ain't easy, man. It may look glamour-like to you because you see me riding, you dig? Snake skin down to the floor, you dig? Hat and shoes to match, diamonds on fingers and watches on arms. I'm telling you, it might look easy, baby, but you're going to have to work some to get to this static, baby. See you at the top.
Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, against the white walls, TV antennas in the back. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Just be thankful for what you got. Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean, gangster white walls, TV antennas in the back. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Just be thankful for what you got. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo-hoo. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo-hoo. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo-hoo. Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, against the white walls, TV antennas in the back. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo-hoo. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with a gangster lean. Woo-hoo.
Yes, people, diamond in the back, sunroof top, living in the land of the, yes. I am Jason Francis, a.k.a. Smiley P, as you know, and this is my guest, Darren Goodman, and we're live on the the herbaliferadio.com with myself. Okay, so Darren, we've been talking about your condition, your story, your dark side of it, and how you went through it, and the emotions, and your family worries, and every package that can go with this condition, and how you navigated to a place where you're going to elaborate a little bit more. Can you just talk a little bit more about what you was talking about during the break?
Yeah, because when I share this story, it's so in depth. Sometimes I do forget bits, and there's some like really kind of iconic bits what stand out for me. And I know we were just talking earlier.
Yes.
So when I was in my local hospital, I got to know a lot of the consultants, and one of them today is one of my good friends now. He's no longer my consultant. We're just good friends. We just still kind of like contact each other because he was the one who got me to the place where I needed to get so I can be in a good shape for my heart transplant. So anyway, because of it's a funny story. Because I had all these cardiac arrests, and technically I really shouldn't be here. All right. I was laying in the bed, and one of the consultants walked past and said, put his hand up, and rather than calling my name, he said Lazarus.
Lazarus. That's one of the classic names from back in the day.
Yeah, so everyone knows the story about Lazarus.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I've got a bit of religion in me, but I'm probably more spiritual. Like when I kind
Same
of
here.
when I kind of like look back at my journey, my recovery and healing process, I would say I'm more spiritual than religious, because I look at my kind of inner spirit and where I can kind of grow, where I can heal myself from this and tap into what I'm feeling. Yeah. So rather than follow kind of like a set of rules,
Yes.
I'll follow the rules, what is kind of like good for me.
Rules of life.
Yeah, the rules of life.
Life is our teacher.
Yeah.
That's what I always say.
So, so moving forward then, getting back to the evening of the heart transplant, preparing my body, getting everything ready. And like I said, I wasn't fazed by this. There was no anxious feelings. I was in a good spirit. My wife was 150 miles away back at home, because remember I had my transplant in Birmingham.
Okay.
Yeah, so we live in Essex. So I rang my wife and said, look, it's happening today, this evening. And she's like, oh my gosh, okay, don't worry, I'm coming. So anyway, she's on her way, and the nurses are saying, right, we're taking you upstairs now to get your operation. I said, okay, no worries. At this time, I'm on the bed with all the needles in me and everything else,
Right.
but still having a laugh and a joke
Good.
with the nurses. And they're
Nice.
looking at me thinking,
Nice.
oh my gosh.
This guy's different.
So they said to me, where's your wife? And I said, she's coming. I said to her, I'll see her once the operation's finished. Now, remember, you're having a big operation, right? You're going to be on a bypass. And it's down to, once you come off a bypass, it's down to your body to then get back to normal, like the heartbeat and everything else. It's how you're going to come out of the operation. And it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed once the operation's finished, you're going to be okay. But like I said to you, I had no fear, and I knew this was it for me. So anyway, I got to the theatre, and I remember hearing one of the nurses saying, who's doing the operation? And the name she said, they've gone, oh my gosh, he's got the best team.
Nice.
So the surgeon I had, he's one of the leading surgeons in the country. And it's funny enough, when I came out of hospital, they had like a documentary on about Birmingham Hospital transplants, and who was giving the talk. It was my surgeon, Dr. Mascara, one of the leading surgeons in the country, and he was the one who done my operation. And when I saw him a few days after my operation, when I was in recovery on the ward, he came up to me and he said, you've done really well on the table. And he said, your operation lasted only 4 hours. So that's 4 hours to transplant a heart with no complications, nothing at all,
Brilliant.
and moving on to recovery. And what I do remember, when I woke up, is taking a deep breath. Because that was the first time I could actually take a deep breath and fill my lungs with air clearly without feeling out of breath. And that was the best feeling. I always remember that feeling to this day, like taking like a deep breath and thinking, I can breathe.
You know, like I said, as you're talking, Darren, I'm picturing, visualizing. I think one of the things that really helps you, obviously, the Creator, the Lord Mighty, you was relaxed. Maybe you thought of stress, but you didn't act of stress, because a thought is not physical, but the body is obviously physical. So if you let the body do its natural process, then whatever operations or help you're going to get physically, it's a nice blend to have to help you process smoothly and with great care and help as well. Yeah, so well done on that. Yeah. And is there anything you want to ask me or anything that you want to say more before we play another song?
Not at this point. Nothing I really want to ask you, really. Nothing is yet. Okay. Because I think when we go into like recovery and things like that, I may want to kind of tap in to see how you feel about the way how I recovered, whether it can be for anyone else, because everyone's unique in their kind of own individual way. Yeah.
That's right.
But yeah, it's about nothing's come to mind yet, Jay.
No, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to play a song, and this song was first heard this song at a club. Maybe some of the listeners now might know this club, but this club was called Trends. It used to be in Hackney somewhere. I can't remember the exact road. Was it Amherst Road? No, somewhere in Hackney. And I was about 14. And the story behind this song and the Trends Club was, I remember I used to live in Bethnal Green at that time. So I had some friends called like Malik, Joe, Sherman, Francis, etc. And I was young, obviously. I couldn't get into the club. So, and I never had no shoes. I think it was Martin that he must have gone to the toilet, took off his shoes and gave it to one of the guys, gave me the shoes, and then obviously I got into the club and I went back into the toilet and changed back into maybe trainers I had on at that time. But this song, I got some kind of affiliation. I can resonate with this particular story very, very well. So there was a club called Trends. So all those remember Trends back in the day. If you remember Trends, you remember clubs like Oasis and All Nations and Roseberries and all those, maybe even Shonolas and all those kind of clubs. So there's a lot to do with this song, and this song is got a lot. This song reminds me of Darren, of a time and a place, and hopefully it's the same thing for you guys.
Outside in the rain.
Make it.
Yes, that was Graham Godfrey on Outside in the Rain. Thank you, Malik, for tuning in, and hopefully some of the other boys are. Because I remember, like I said, when I first came to England, I lived in Bethnal Green. There used to be a place called the White Flats. And I went to school in Dainford School. So I had friends like Malik, Sherman, Joe, Martin, Francis, and all those connected with the White Flats. Guys, big you up for tuning in. Obviously, I got people in Italy listening, especially my sister Sandra in Italy. I got people around the world listening and tuned in. And even though I do this show, I do it from the heart. Like I was explaining to someone, I was originally in a group called the Starlight Crew. So I was, first of all, I started as a dancer, then I became an MC, then I became a DJ, and I had all these natural talents. But along the way, I met a lot of celebrity friends and people who up there. So I could have invited them to come and do some shows, but to me, it just didn't feel right. I want some real stories, some true stories, people who are just normal people who has gone through experiences of life, and to share their story. So, like I said, guys, if you got a story that you want to share, don't be scared. Just you can contact with me, jasonfrancis643@yahoo.com, jasonfrancis643@yahoo.com. If you want to come and participate, share your story on the Love Always podcast on the Hub. But like I said, Darren's with me here today, Darren Goodman. And he's talking about his story about how we went through transplants and dark places. And we're going to try and navigate a little bit more into situations where we can be more optimistic. And obviously, Darren can share his recovery, and it can also help those who are out there who might have gone through a similar situation in their life. So, Darren, can you elaborate a little bit more? Tell us a bit more about the journey, please.
Yeah, so continuing after the transplant. So I remember knowing about the surgeon who was doing it, and whilst I was in the prep room.
Do you remember his name?
Dr. Mascaro.
Big up Dr. Mascara. Yeah, not mascara we get from the chemist. Yeah, Dr. Mascara. Go on.
So whilst they were prepping me, I remember just putting so many needles in me because cannulas and stuff, because lots of medication goes through you. And listen, to this day, I don't like needles. So every needle I put in me, I just kept on like, ouch, and all that kind of stuff. And they could see I didn't like needles. And I remember one of them saying to me, do you want me to put you to sleep? I said, yeah, just put me to sleep and then you can do what you need to do. Because I still had quite a few needles to go in, like at the back of my hand and really hurtful places. So I just remember them said, it's got one more to put in, and then they put the juice in, and that was it. And I just remember waking up to my wife and one of her best mates, and I remember because I think when back in Basildon Hospital, that's my local hospital. When I woke up from the cardiac arrest, my wife said to me, I started to pull all the wires out because I started to panic, and they kept on saying, if he does that again, we're going to put him back under sedation. So this time round, my wife said to me, when you have the heart transplant, don't be pulling the wires out.
Just chill.
And I remember waking up, and that's all I had in my head was, Darren, just wake up and don't touch your face, because you're going to have all sorts of tubes and everything else hanging from your mouth. And I just remember opening my eyes and seeing my wife and her best mate. And the stories they're telling me to this day, that how I was acting, because you're high on morphine, you're high on so much drugs, so you act out of character.
Okay.
And I was acting out of character, and they were just there in the background, like laughing, thinking, is he all right? Like, but I was okay, but I was just like high on like morphine and whatever drugs they put in you, the painkillers and stuff, to kind of keep you painless to a certain degree. So anyway, came out of there, went to a ward, and this is the recovery ward basically, and this is where you start to get yourself back to normal.
Are we? Is this the British Heart Foundation now?
They're coming, right? So, getting myself back to normal because I could breathe. A lot of pain in the chest because obviously they've opened my chest up. Yeah, so getting up out of bed was a struggle. But I really wanted to get moving, so I done every time I was out of bed, I was walking up and down the ward.
Or the corridor.
Just to get my body moving.
Yes.
To get everything functioning as how it used to be. And what happens is, because you've just had the operation, what's the painkiller they give you? Morphine.
Morphine.
That's
That's
it,
it. Morphine. Yeah.
In there, you've got morphine on tap, so it's like a little button, and you press it, right? And it just gives you a shot of morphine.
Well, it could be a drug dealer if you wanted to.
Right? But I didn't want all of that, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to, it's weird, really.
Naturally.
I wanted to do it naturally.
Brilliant.
I wanted to feel,
Brilliant.
and it's kind of weird. I wanted to feel the pain, because the less and less the pain got, then I knew I was healing.
Yeah.
When you got morphine in you, you're not feeling it.
Same.
'Cause it takes away all that pain. So when they were
Temporary.
doing the rounds, the doctors were doing the rounds, they were saying to me, "You're not taking your morphine." And I said to them, "I don't need it." And they're looking at each other thinking, "What do you mean you don't need it? You just had an operation." I said, "Look, I just use paracetamol."
Yes.
And paracetamol, as we know, is the weakest
Weakest, yeah,
painkiller.
of all
But
of
it
them,
helped to me because I just couldn't do it without something. But I just
Yeah,
didn't,
you understand. Yeah.
didn't want
yeah,
the morphine
yeah,
because the
yeah.
morphine stops you.
You wanted to help yourself to heal yourself.
Yeah.
As well as the medication as well.
Yeah, I
I
wanted to
understand.
feel the pain get easier.
That's a
each
good way of
day.
looking at it, though.
It's
Yeah,
weird,
we're
yeah.
good. So basically, you had some guidance along the way, as rather than just reliant on the doctor's prescriptions.
Yeah, and I took that up on my own decision to make. Like, I don't want to take morphine. I want to use the paracetamol. And it's weird because I was in a ward of 3 other people, and they were complaining that they couldn't go to the toilet and all sorts of other conditions and pains they were feeling. I was telling them, stop taking the morphine. Let your body heal naturally. Just take paracetamol. And it's weird because they started to use me talking to patients who were undergoing big operations.
One more time, can you just let the people know what was the condition you had called again?
Amyloidosis.
Okay,
yes.
amyloidosis. How do you spell that? You know?
Okay. AMYLODSIS.
And this is a condition. And this is a condition that's one in.
I don't know the statistics, but it's very rare. And it's, like I said, it's going through its research. It's going through its motions of a cure. Suppressing is chemo, but there's no actual cure
No actual cure. So,
at this stage.
so as you're talking, I'm trying to find bits of information that will help others in similar situations. So one of the things I can touch on is while you was going through the procedures, as well as you had a touch of medication to ease the pain, most of it was done through your own medication, which is your natural body's medication.
Yeah, my natural body's medication, you know. And whether or not it was, I was so happy, you know, there was like a cortisol hit happening
Yeah.
for
So
me,
basically,
you
the
know what
reason why I asked this question is because, like I said earlier, in our bodies we have negative and positive cells. But obviously, if you are being stressful at a stressful time, then the negative cells overpowers the positive cells. So if you can stay more relaxed and functional, the positive cells will have a better chance of doing its work. You know.
100%, and that goes for everything. I think, like I was just touching earlier, there was gentlemen in there who was going through big operations, like grown men crying in their bed, knowing they got to go through triple heart bypass,
Yes.
heart transplant, whatever it may be, but they were you can just tell they were just worried. And there's a book I've read, it's called The Body Knows the Score, and whatever your mind thinks is going to affect the body. So if you're feeling negative, your body is going to be negative.
That's
Your
right.
body is
That's
going
right.
to not respond in a positive way.
Yes.
It's going to respond negatively.
You're blocking whatever's meant to work.
Yeah, so they were asking me to talk to these,
It's okay.
talk to these gentlemen who were experiencing anxiety, stress,
Yes.
trying to get them
Nice.
like ready for the operation. And I kind of enjoyed that kind of role to have in there.
Yeah,
do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Because when I was telling them that I've had a heart transplant, they couldn't believe it. And even the doctor said, you know what, you're not looking like a patient anymore.
Yeah, you was the best person for you to speak to those people. Remember, like before, I said about if someone's gone through an experience, so when they try to heal someone or give advisable advice, it's more feedable. It's, you know what I'm saying? It carries more weight. So by you going through that experience, the weight that you had when you spoke to those people that they would get you to speak to, it was very powerful.
Yeah, yeah. So So yeah, so they got me to talk to all like these types of patients who were like feeling anxious and feeling stressed, and I would just talk to them, and I would just share what I have been through. And once I said I had a heart transplant, they couldn't believe it, and it gave them that kind of lift to think, well, if you look like that after a heart transplant, like 2 weeks into a heart transplant, where I was walking around, talking normally, laughing and joking, then I've got some hope, and that's that's all my role was, just to give them that hope to relax, because the more you relax, the better you'll be on that operating table. Yeah. So anyway, moving through there, I was seeing the physiotherapist daily, and because the fitness brain had kicked in again, yeah, I asked them to put a bike next to my bed. Yeah, so at any time I could actually.
Incentive. It was an incentive, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to just get better, do you know?
Yeah.
And be out of hospital, because one of the things, like during my time, prior to the actual operation,
Yes.
something spoke to me and said, "What do you want?
God, I
Do you
love
want-
this.
Do you want a holiday? 'Cause we were looking to go on holiday.
Okay.
Or do you want a heart chart? Do you want to be out by Christmas? Yeah, out of hospital by Christmas. And all I wanted was to be out of hospital by Christmas.
Your angel spoke
And
to you.
and I was out of hospital, I think, a week before Christmas.
Yeah, that's
A week before Christmas.
that's definitely your guardian
Like,
angel, mate.
Yeah, and that's all I wanted, just to be out. I didn't want to be in hospital for Christmas. I wanted to be out and spending it with my family, and that was granted to me. So moving on from there, my recovery period started from home. Yeah, so
What are we talking about?
back end of 2018.
Okay, so we're
Yeah,
talking about
Christmas
almost
time.
6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
okay,
All right. So got home, and it was a struggle. It was still a struggle. Like being at home, it was kind of worrying for my wife, because
Hang on 1 second. So, how long did you spend in hospital before you went home?
4 weeks.
Oh, 4 weeks. Okay. 4 weeks, so a whole month basically.
Yeah, 4 weeks. I was fine, which is the average time really.
Okay.
Without any complications.
Okay, so you've gone home now. Everything seemed a little bit surreal.
It did, yeah. It's weird because I still had a little bit of fluid, and that was one thing my wife was always worried about. like,
Okay.
but they said it will get better. He just needs to continue walking, and it will ease off. And it eased off in the end, but I still found it a struggle to still get up the stairs.
Up the stairs.
Yeah, I had to crawl up the stairs for a bit, and then obviously kind of walk back down.
Okay, just hold that thought there, because I'm trying to pump out some energy right now of what you went through. So let's just go back a little bit to when you was in hospital. What kind of advice would you put out there for someone that's been in a similar situation? It doesn't have to be the condition you have, but an operative condition where they might have to have an operation. How would you say to go about the process before the operation? I know you said a few things, but just give a bit more.
Okay, I mean, what works for me may not work for everyone else.
That's
okay?
right.
So I think looking back now, I think my approach of recovery is more holistic, looking at what's around me, family, friends, what I have planned for the future. Do you know, like I've got more to offer than just what's happening now. Like
Okay.
when the doctors told me, like I haven't got long to live and potentially I could be not here within a year,
Yes.
I'm like, no, I've got more to offer.
Go
Do you
on.
know, I want to see my children grow up. I want to see this in life. I've got more to offer. And I think because I put my mindset in a positive place and not a negative place, I think that,
Carried
like
you.
I said, the book is called, I can't remember the author, I won't get it. The Body Knows the Score. It
Wow.
set my body up to kind of think, you're going to fight this. Yeah?
Brilliant.
Because
Brilliant.
just tracking just slightly back, because when my pastor had done the praying and everything else afterwards, I had a load of cannulas around me. That very next day after she had left, the cannulas came off. My bloods numbers went up to a stable condition.
God.
So I was
Brilliant.
thinking, like my wife came to see me. She goes, "Where's all the needles?" They're gone. Like they've gone. Like they said, I don't need them anymore.
Yep.
So that was healing right there,
There you
because
go.
the energy what my pastor gave to me put me in that kind of state,
There you go.
and I believed in it.
And you just used the key word there, energy. Energy. And let's just go forward a little bit more to where we was before I interrupted you. Now you're at home. Everything seems a little bit surreal. So carry on the story from home.
Yeah, so from home, obviously I'm still recovering, so I'm still taking my time to move around. My wife was still a bit anxious because, come on, she witnessed me having a cardiac arrest, so she's still traumatized through, blimey, I hope he's going to be okay, it's
Yes.
going to happen again, and all that kind of stuff. Because, listen, a heart transplant is not a cure. Yeah, it's not a cure.
Yeah.
Because it's got a time frame.
Yeah.
Although I've met patients, heart transplant patients, who are 38 years post-transplant, but still it's not a cure. I've met transplant patients who's had 2 transplants. It's not a cure.
It's not a cure.
Yeah, so it's what you can do for yourself once you've had it, yeah, and respect it. Respect what's been given to you, yeah, because it's a gift. When they say it's the gift of life, it truly is a gift of life.
Amen.
So anyway, going through my healing at home, I was still doing the fitness thing. So if I started to walk up the stairs now. Every time I walked up the stairs, I was doing some squats and then going back into bed, chilling out. And then if I went back down the stairs, I'd kind of like move around. So I was trying to start to build. I'd lost a lot of muscle mass. So I started to try and build my legs up and my body up and everything else. So I think to get my body back to kind of a stage where I was able to move around freely, probably about 3 to 4 months. Yeah?
3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months.
Well,
yeah.
you know what? I believe if you've got opportunity to come out of something so horrendous, doesn't matter if it takes a lifetime. Yeah.
Exactly, because listen, for anyone out there who have got lifelong conditions, and having a heart transplant is a lifelong condition. We're battling every single day, because some days you can wake up and you feel you've got a lot of medication to take, and it has its side effects, it has its toll on you, but have in mind of what it's given you today. Like you said, let's think about the present. Yeah,
That's
let's not
right.
think about the future
Yes.
of where we're going to be then. It's where we are now.
Now, the future will take care of
Yeah,
itself.
and if we are in that place of, we're feeling a bit anxious, we're feeling a bit low, listen, that's okay. Do you know what I mean? That's okay to feel low.
Because, like I said, life is full of highs and lows.
Yeah, and it's what we do with that low.
That's right.
Can we turn it into a positive?
Amen.
Do you know? And just look, like I said, my approach was more holistic. It was what's around me, my friends, my family, what I have to offer, and what plans do I have? Because remember now, I'm out of work. Yeah, I'm still young. I've had to leave the prison service, well, get medically retired from the prison service. So I need something,
Yes.
know?
Yes. Yes.
which links in. And that's why when we go through these experiences and we think, how am I still here? It's God has a purpose for you.
Of course he
Got
does.
a purpose for everybody.
That's right.
Remember I said earlier, the nurses were using me to speak to patients who were going through big operations, feeling anxious, feeling stressful. And what led me to the role, what I'm doing now, is reflecting back then on what I was doing for patients.
For patients.
in the hospital.
And this is why I said everything happens for a reason. And nothing is a waste, not even death. Death is not a waste. So everything happens for a reason, and this is one of the things that we always have to remember. But we also have to consider what people go through in life, and because we see them in certain places, certain situations, it doesn't mean everything is rosy. Because until you speak with someone and you touch base with them, you don't really get to understand what life is about. And life is about learning. There is always going to be obstacles in the way, but it doesn't mean that we can't override those things. So I'm going to play one more song before we come back to the other side. And this song is about Ain't Nobody, Shaka Khan. But I was also say Ain't Nobody Loves You Better Than the Creator. That's right, yo. Ain't nobody loves you than the creator itself. And life is an opportunity for us to live in this physical body until the physical body clock is ticked down to where the soul comes out and goes on to another journey, which we're all going to experience at some point in our lives. So life is a journey that's full of joy, and there's beautiful things happen as well as sad things. Like I've always said, the world is fine. It's just some people are just messed up. And those who are messed up, they just need helpers also as well. Because I also believe we all got good hearts, but somewhere along the line, some people's spirits get infected, and because it was not protected. So, Darren, we got about 13 to 14 minutes left. Darren's going to talk about where he's at right now, and he's also going to talk about what he does now, and maybe you might want to have an interaction with him because I think he's going to express and explain a little bit more. Darren?
Yeah, thank you, Jason. So like I said earlier, I needed a job. So I started to think, well, I can't go back to the job I used to do. I want to do something a bit more sedative, but I was stuck. I didn't know what to do. I had little jobs in between. Done a bit of PE teaching in schools and stuff like that, but I think I died a death of PE in sport. Still like my sport, but teaching it, yeah, I kind of fell off a bit of wanting to do it anymore, and I wanted a different kind of drive in life. So I got a friend who was a counsellor. I spoke to her a bit about, what I really want to do and stuff. And because I used to be a prison officer, prison officers have got lots of heads on. They've got a counselling head, they've got a fireman head, they've got the prison officer head, they've got lots of heads on.
Uh-huh.
All right, so I've gone through lots of different experiences, seen a lot of things whilst working in the prison service. And that was half the kind of criteria to become a therapist. So had a look online of what I wanted to do, how I wanted to go about it, and saw the course to become a therapist. And I think it's my way of doing things sometimes. Rather than gradually get to somewhere, I throw myself in at the deep end.
Yes.
So what did I go and do? A degree in counselling.
Nice, nice. That was your purpose.
Yeah.
It was your purpose. It's all part of it. And so basically now you're a counsellor. This is your job right now, right?
That's my job right now. It's part-time, still building my own practice.
Uh-huh.
But I still have a full-time job. But primarily the goal is to have my own practice and work
Nice.
myself. So I still see a few clients in the evening. But my niche kind of clientele is to work with transplant patients.
You know what? That's such a beautiful thing to say, Darren, because of all the experiences you went through in that dark place and you came out of it and saw the light, like we spoke earlier, you want to give something back, don't you?
Yeah, and I think the journey has begun. So where I had my transplant done in Birmingham, they've recently set up, and we are in the process of setting up a patient support group for transplant patients, post-transplant as well. Not even pre can join, but the post-transplant patient will probably get more help, if you know what I mean, from it, from what we are actually trying to achieve. So part of my role in this support group is to offer group sessions to transplant patients, and it's going to open up a safe space for them to share, their triumphs, their stories, and to share coping strategies. Yeah, because like I said earlier.
I like that. Coping strategies. That's a lovely word.
Yeah.
I love that.
So being a transplant patient, it is about coping of
Yes.
day-to-day living.
Yes.
Our medication is always on the go. And when I say on the go, we meet with our consultants, and they may take 1 gram away from that one, up it one day.
Mm-hmm.
So they're always tickering around with the medication. And some transplant patients haven't had a really good experience of a transplant operation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not a good experience anyway, but some have it good, some have it bad.
Do you think that comes down to the individual and their mindset as well?
It could be. Listen, it's trauma, yeah?
The trauma, yes.
It's trauma in the body. It's trauma in the mind of what you're thinking, of what is overthinking,
Uh-huh.
which triggers anxiety, which you really believe that something's going to happen to you. Yeah? So when you overthink, that's what it
Yeah,
does.
it does,
triggers
yeah.
the threat response,
Yes.
and you start to believe in what you're thinking when there's no specific truth in the matter of what you're actually thinking. So it's trying to reduce those overthinking by really, if you are feeling that anxiety, staying with it because it's natural.
It's natural.
Yeah? So we're here. So I'm trying to actually open up this group for transplant patients to make it a safe environment for them
Nice.
to share their experience of what they're going through, how they are coping, and how others are coping, because they may think, oh, that person's doing that. Maybe I should try that and see if it helps me.
Yes.
Stuff like that. Because we don't have these platforms. As transplant patients, we don't have them. If you look at cancer patients, they have the Terry McMillan to help them. They have counselling for that. But for transplant patients, we don't have this. And
Okay.
it's in the process now. And hopefully this is the journey I want to take it through. I want transplant patients to have a voice. I want them to have that psychological intervention
Nice.
where we need it, where rather than using the nurses, which are more trained in the physical aspects of
Yeah.
transplantation rather than the psychological aspects, I want them to have this place to go to where they can share their emotions and speak about what they're experiencing.
Experiences,
Because believe it or not, when I went through my transplant afterwards, even to this day, I'm different. I feel different. I feel different when I'm around people because everyone else has their own heart,
Yeah,
what they're
yeah.
born with.
Yes.
I now have a heart which is somebody else's.
Deep.
So I do feel really different. I
Okay.
do feel really different if it's changed me.
Uh-huh.
Does it change the way how I love people? Does it change the way
You see your wife, see your kids.
see my kids?
Mhm.
It's really hard to navigate.
Yeah.
And this is what other transplant patients experience. But when they share it with other people don't understand.
Yeah.
So this group is for everybody, all our transplant patients, to identify with each other.
So, can you tell the people how do they get in touch with this group and how to find the link, etc.?
Right, so it's a Facebook group.
Okay.
And it's a Facebook group, unfortunately. It's only open up to Birmingham transplant patients, yeah?
Uh-huh.
But however, if anyone has had a transplant and are experiencing, difficulties through their journey, I mean, I offer a private practice anyway, so you can catch me on the counselling directory. Just type in my name, Darren Goodman, and if you head over to that link there,
Can you spell Darren Goodman?
yeah, it's Darren and Goodman, as in I'm a good man, but all one word, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's good. So,
Yeah.
Darren Goodman, Darren Goodman.
Yep, and just tap in counselling directory, Darren Goodman, and you'll see me there. And have a look at my page, okay? Or you can catch me on Instagram, the therapy guy _guy with double Y,
Nice.
okay? And the counselling directory link is also on there. So click on that link, and you can see my page, what kind of therapy I offer, and my niche therapy for transplant patients is there.
So Instagram, the therapy guy.
Yeah, the therapy guy.
Remember that, guys?
Yeah.
The therapy guy on Instagram, or Darren Goodman, DarrenGoodman. And as you have to understand, in life, everything has a start, everything has a middle, and everything has an end. So we're going to be coming to the end of the show. But before we go that, we're going to talk a little bit more. So guys, remember, if you want to participate, come on the show. The Love Always with me, Jason Francis, a.k.a. Smiley P. Hit me up at jasonfrancis643@yahoo.com. That's jasonfrancis643@yahoo.com. We come here with me on the Hub Live Radio. We're going to be sharing stories. Anything you want to talk about that would help people also. Because I believe if you help others, help comes back to you. But it's like saying if you do good, you receive good back in return. And Darren, I thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure. And hopefully this information and this conversation that we had today can pump some energy to people that might go to similar situations and similar issues in their life. But life is full of challenges once again. But enjoy the now. Remember that. Enjoy the now. Forget yesterday. Tomorrow is not ready. Enjoy the now. But there's also one song that I always play, and I really resonate with this song. And I always end the show on this song. But once again, I'd like to thank my guest, Darren Goodman. Darren, thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you very much, Jason, for having me. I've really, really enjoyed it.
And hopefully, like I said, you can catch Darren at the therapy guy or Darren Goodman. And hopefully you can help each other. And that's what we need. We need to come together in the world because, like I said, the world is fine. It's just some people in the world that's got bad spirits. And we always have to protect our energy and protect our spirit. But the Herb Live Radio, thank you for giving me the opportunity. It's been a while. And I'm going to be doing this show once a month. So look out for my next projects coming up. Once again, I'm Jason Francis, a.k.a. Smiley P, the Love Always guy, Mr. Love Always. Guys, have a great Sunday. Have a good weekend. And make sure the Creator guides you in the way that's positive as always. And keep love safe and keep yourself safe. See you guys on the next show.
Touch me in the pouring rain, and the moment that you wander apart from me, I wanna feel you in my arms again. And you come to me on a summer breeze, keep me warm in your love, then you softly leave, and it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Is your love? Deep is your love? I really need to learn. 'Cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. I believe in you. You know the door to my very soul. You're the light in my deepest, darkest doubt. You're my savior when I fall. And you may not think I care for you when you know down inside that I really do. And it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to learn. 'Cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na na come to me on a summer breeze, keep me warm in your love, then you softly leave, and it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to learn. 'Cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to learn. 'Cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down